Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and I made a shocking discovery in the Fenix A320. I found a Test.Exe file in the Fenix. Now, those of you who are in flight simulation for longer will probably know where this is going, but let's start with what I found and what all of that means. Now, the newer members of the flight sim community will probably not be aware of what it is even if they find it, but let's shed a little bit of light into the story behind the Test.Exe file that we find in the Fenix A320. Now, first of all, how did I find it? Well, when I was looking around the cockpit and I tried to go into some of the details, especially when trying to read some of the checklists, then I came across this. We've got the landing gear pin door down here in the aft part of the cockpit, and if we have a look into here, there is something we can find, a little disk there with Test.Exe written on it. Now, what's the story behind finding this in the Fenix Airbus? Well, this dates back to about 2016-ish, or maybe 2015 even, when we were in the prime time of Prepared being the vital simulator and the one that everyone would fly, and back in the day there was a company called FSLabs. Now, FSLabs has also developed highly complex Airbus aircraft, and I tend to say that depending on whom you ask, the FSLabs aircraft might even have a little bit more system complexity than the Fenix aircraft. Certainly they had a couple more systems like icing and like de-icing modeled fully. Now, obviously, by now the FSLabs is a little bit out of date, and it's never been made compatible with Microsoft Flight Simulator, even though there are some rumors that they are working on an A321neo and on an A330 aircraft, but those are not confirmed by now. In any case, what we can say is that back in the day FSLabs had a huge problems with piracy, and there was one certain pirate whom they tried to hunt down, or at least that is how the Flight Sim Labs CEO, Lefthers Kalamaras, put it in the explanation in his forum in the aftermath. Now, they tried to hunt down that particular pirate, and they knew which kind of browser that pirate was using. So they actually included malware in the product that was installed on every customer's computer in order to try to hunt that pirate down, and only when that malware detected that it, or rather only it was supposed to detect that pirate's computer, it would read out all the passwords from Google Chrome and send those in an unprotected environment to FSLabs. Now, this was found out by some users on Reddit, and it turned out that Flight Sim Labs was very slow to apologize for it and to remove the malware from the product. Now, if you want to read up on that story, there is a great article on fsnews.eu, which you can read right over here, and I can absolutely recommend everybody to check that article out. It is going to be linked in the video description below, and it is a great read of something that has its certain place in flight sim history and now has even found its way into the Fenix cockpit. Now, first of all, hats off to Fenix for actually including that little joke in their aircraft. I absolutely loved it when I found it at first, and it kind of reminded me of the good old times of flight simulation, even though that might have been one of the darker chapters, at least in Airbus simulation. In any case, great little gimmick that they've shown down here. Now, what happened in the aftermath then? Well, the fact that Fenix included a malware that was distributed to all their customers made its way into the mainstream gaming news, and there have been a lot of articles posted back in the day, many of which you will find linked in the fsnews.eu article that I can certainly recommend you guys to check out. So, if you're interested in that particular piece of flight sim history, do read that article. They do shed quite a lot of light into one of these darker chapters in flight sim history. In any way, they also have a couple of other nice news, like for example, when a company tried to forbid freeware repaints, claiming that they are holding exclusive rights to reselling repaints of a certain airline. Another great Simcident article that you can read on that fsnews.eu website. In any case, returning to what's happened in the aftermath of the Test.Exe incident with FSLabs, they did eventually remove it, even though they made a couple of further attempts to do things that were a little bit suspicious, at least in terms of what you would normally expect in order to hunt down pirates. But ultimately, with the change from P3D to Microsoft Flight Simulator becoming the most common flight sim, things did settle down, and we slowly had FSLabs fade away because they've never been able to convert their P3D Airbus simulation to Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, little story there that we got reminded of, and a little gimmick that we found in the Fenix A320. It's quite unbelievable that it took so long to actually even find this one, but it's really great to have Fenix include small details like that, and let's be honest over here, that's a great little joke they made in their aircraft. Now with that, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Do hope that you found this one entertaining. Be sure to read that linked article, as it is really worth a read to see what happened in the days prior to Microsoft Flight Simulator in flight simulation. But in the meantime, if you did like the video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment to let me know what you think about that particular sim incident, and finally be sure to subscribe if you're up for more. Thank you very much for watching everyone, and I see you all again on the next one.